So this is June 1st, 2016, and as always, by the time the newsletter comes out, we're a few days into the month that we're tuning into. However, the information usually lasts the whole month, so we're going to go ahead and tune into the energy of June and find out what's coming and how to work with it, and have a good ride. So if everyone will start to ground by feeling your breath flowing in your body, feeling the bottoms of your feet, and feeling your breath moving along the spine, and feeling your sits bones. And we're just collectively tuning into our own bodies and our own senses, and then tuning in to this amazing month of June ahead. The month of June, for most people, will feel like the blink of an eye, because July 1st will be here that quickly. Now, while time speeding up and going fast is not a new concept, this is the beginning of the gateway, the second portal into the year. And momentum is definitely happening in terms of digesting experiences and moving outside of space and time. And this is why things feel like they're speeding up so much, because as a species, the human race and the consciousness of the human race is starting to move outside of time. So it seems that time is speeding up, when in truth, the human psyche is stepping outside of the man-made constructs of space and time and working within the realm of instant now moments that come quickly, apparently, to the consciousness that's used to operating in space and time. So, as you were saying earlier, living in them now, being in the present moment, being right here, right now, and responding and interacting and relating with that really is the only place to be. You'll notice that even if you have a set of plans for the day when you first wake up, the way that you get to fulfill those plans is often not the way you thought you would. And oftentimes those plans don't even get fulfilled because they change 100 times as frequencies shift and move and vibrations shift and move, and your consciousness shifts and moves. So June is going to be a month of what will appear or to be felt as super hyper quickened speed. Literally, you'll turn around at the end of the month and say, what the heck was that? So that the visual that comes is like when you're at the beach and you're digging a hole in the sand, but the sand keeps falling back and in on the hole that you're digging. It just, you keep trying to gain momentum, but more and more keeps pouring in. And so each day will have its invitation to you to see if you're going to try and handle all of the things coming at you, or if you'll be able to relax, open in your heart, and allow a natural sifting and sorting process by the intelligence of the universe to take place instead. So what does that mean literally? Let's take the example of having an important discussion. Let's say there's an energetic up between you and another person, and your sense is you really need to have a good sit down with them and talk through what's at hand. For some, just the thought, having that thought precedes the event, so that the event itself will seem like it's already happened by having the thought that clearing the air with this person would be a good thing. You might find the energy dynamically shifting on its own, so that when you go to clear the air, there simply just is no air to be cleared, because the energy has swiftly run its course and completed itself and moved out. So you can expect a lot of things like that to be going on. This is even relative to your own self, where you feel like you might have to have a good sit down with yourself journal, write, process yourself through something, get into your emotional content around something and digest and process and ideate about it. You might find that simply by having the intention very clearly that you are available for whatever is unresolved to be resolved, the instant it arises, you can have that experience as well. So in this way, we're talking about living in the moment with conscious intent, freely moving from instant to instant, unencumbered. And this is indicative of where the human race is moving toward. It is a opportunity to become more telepathic, more wired to the collective, and more awake and attuned to the whole body that is being lived in the appearance of individual forms. Taking a deep breath, relaxing into the knowledge that you have in your bones about this. The benefits of working with the energy as they're moving this way, which we want to keep saying really fast, when in truth that's not actually the fact. However, it's a frame of reference. Everything's going so fast. People use that phrase a lot. The benefit of working with this is learning to have vividly clear intent and receptivity. Because the manifesting is quickened in this portrayal. Clear intent, clear vibration, offering up the frequency of that which you intend to be so, is met with practically instant manifestation. So it's a good month to check on your thinking. What do you think is possible? What do you think is impossible? What do you feel you have confidence in? Where do you feel insecure? It's a good month for taking inventory on what's happening in your mental and emotional bodies, in your thinking and believing state and your response-reaction state, and to, might say, reorganize those systems so that they can operate at peak performance of instant clarity. Instant clarity, instant knowing, conscious intuition, being so present in the moment that it's almost like having superpowers, like hyper-seeing, being able to see the energetics of everything going on around you at once. Now, for those who tend to have a habit of imploding on oneself, negative self-talk, criticism, putting oneself down, you'll find that that just doesn't hold water at this point, that it's not even believable, that when the inner critic arises, the voice is so not solid. It will almost have a hologram, destabilized flavor to it, so not even real. And that's a good thing. We don't want to pretend that there's not an inner critic if there is one, and we don't want to insert one where there isn't one. The relationship with that criticizing voice is what gets to dynamically change. So giving that voice less credence and more space to understand that it is like a lingering past thought from a while ago that no longer has any application in the program running now. Because the program running now is about the now moment. So any opinion that you would have about yourself can only happen in the past. So if you're in an experience and you notice you're having an opinion about it, then you must have already had the experience, which means your opinion is commenting on something that already happened and isn't in the now. This is a very amusing point to be aware of. So in June, be awake to any judgment or criticism or opinions that are going on, and notice that it's a comment on the past. And if you're commenting on the past, then your attention is on the past and not in the current moment. Because in the current moment, there's simply nothing to comment on because you're busy living it. So let's just take a moment to digest that. how that's being delivered to me has a lot of humor with it, so I'm having some giggling going on over here. The month of June does bring a certain levity with it. Everything is light and easy. And if you perceive that it's not light and easy, then it's your perceptions that you get to correct. The perceptions will be magnified. So if there's a perception of, oh, this is heavy, this is hard, this is struggle, feels like I'm climbing up a mountain, then it's your perception being overlaid on the moment that's causing the experience to be that way. If you allow energy to move without labels, then you'll find that being keenly present to the moment is a very light and swift-moving experience. And that the moment is already fully informed. The innate intelligence, the divine wisdom operating the moment is fully engaged. Really, all you're doing is witnessing. So moving with intention, receptivity, and witnessing the unfolding. Examples, some tangible examples from my life in the last 2 days to vivify this for you. So I took a nap and I fell asleep thinking it would be really cool if I had a few little boys from the neighborhood show up, grade schoolers looking to make summer money to mow my lawn, because that would just be super easy. Just show up at my door and ask to mow my lawn, and I'll pay you whatever you want for the summer. That was when I fell asleep. I woke up to knocking at the door, and there were 3 little boys on their bikes wanting to mow the lawn to make money for the summer. And so, like that, this morning I was doing my morning ritual, meditation, prayer, intention, channeling, and the thought came through, it would be really neat if an ideal person would book a month at my Airbnb. I'd love to have an ideal person here. I've got several rooms in my house that I run by Airbnb. I had the thought, went into meditation, completed meditation, walked into the house, and my Airbnb guest, who I love and adore, asked me, can I stay an extra month? So what's happening in my world are tangible examples of what's happening with everybody everywhere. Everyone has their own version of an instant manifestation. It's a matter of being awake to it, consciously intending it, consciously receiving it, and acknowledging it when it's happening. And the universe has always loved that, and now that's really amplified. So the more that you're in touch with this kind of, and I'll use the word lightly, this kind of magic, the more snowball effect it has. As you acknowledge it, it gains momentum. Now, this has always been true in the past, of course. What we acknowledge, what we focus on, we gain more of. However, with the energetics in June, it's like warp speed ahead. It's just an incredible time to lean into confidence and lean into fun and lean into joy and lean into what you most want, and to not have to know how, to not figure out the details, to just feel into the sensation of what feels the most life-giving to you, because you can feel that, because you know it's in your senses to be able to feel good when you choose to, and lean into that exercise, practice coming to your senses. For those who want to know the work of coming to your senses, you could look up Cindy Tevens. T as in Thomas, double E, V as in Victory, E, N as in Nancy, S. Cindy Tevens. She developed a body of work called Coming to Your Senses. June is a superb time to work with manifesting by feeling. Now, for the ladies listening, there is also the aliveness of the feminine creation tension, the sacred sensual energy, the sacred feminine goddess energy, and starting to import that whether you experience that sacred goddess energy as a heart presence, whether you experience it as a vividness of insight, intuition, and mind, whether you experience it as a flow of life force through your body as sexual, sensual energy, that aligns really well with the month of June and the capacity to manifest by feeling. So you want to lean into those feminine qualities no matter how you experience them in your system. The feminine is about receptivity. It's about drawing in and magnetizing, and you're aligning your intention and your feminine receptivity with the body orientation, again, whether it's your mental body or your physical body or your heart presence body. You're aligning with that congruent in your body, the same energy that's happening with the month of June. So cultivating presence of the now moment in deep receptivity as the sacred feminine. For those who are listening that are in male bodies, it's the same principle, because every female has male and female within, every male has male and female within, and so it's turning to that receptive side in the masculine body to tap into the psyche of the magnetizing receptive space. That's a feminine quality, or a female essence quality. Okay, we're taking a moment in silence for listening and breathing, digesting the energy and the frequency of the transmission. This month ahead is also a very rich time to set intent for the rest of the year. Now, that's interesting because we're being guided to be acutely awake in the moment and live moment to moment, and yet to set a course for the unfolding energy for the rest of the year at the same time. So let's say you're in a state of delight and you're appreciating being in a state of delight, and you say to yourself, I like this state of delight. I intend this state underscores my whole year. No matter what circumstances or conditions present, I intend that this is the quality of living that I experience regardless of the appearing outer facts. So setting intention for how you will live into your life from a sense point, not from a detail point, is also very useful at this time. June is a gateway. It's a very, very powerful gateway for anyone who wants to actively participate in cultivating their now moment and the intention for the year ahead. Okay, we're going to go to another, if you will, like another level of consciousness here. In the collective consciousness of humanity, there has been a lot of storytelling about struggle, hardship, things being heavy, too much to handle, overwhelm, and vibrations of that nature. Truly, the human psyche is moving in accordance with the Earth's evolution, and that is stepping outside of space and time into the frequency of instant manifestation. This is not a heavy thing. This is actually light and easy. And as you recognize more regularly, this is easy, and speak, this is easy, and know this is easy, and affirm it and intend it, you will have the direct experience that the things you have held as heavy or awkward or cumbersome or overwhelming has a lightness to it. There's a graduated energy to it, and things seem to get done of their own accord. They seem to fulfill themselves more easily. And again, you're in a position of witness. There is a lot of intention behind changing outer world structures, seeking peace, seeking community, seeking systems that work, and all of this is very valuable and very useful. However, seeking to change the external circumstances without an internal core to come from will destabilize the approach and the intent of the external circumstances. So always come to your core first and be congruent within yourself that you think, feel, know, believe, sense, perceive, imagine, and trust. That your word is true and that your energy is congruent with your word. That your spoken word is active prayer and thereby calling forth manifestation. As you lean into this on the inner first, it will dynamically change your relationship to the outer, which then creates greater freedom for you to be able to interact and relate with the outer from the perspective of your innermost core. And by coming from your innermost core and witnessing reality from that place, the external shifts in accordance with that perception. So there's not a lot of reaching outside of yourself to take action to do something about something. There's more the intention of unfolding and conjuring unfolding by congruence within self and allowing the universe to meet that by demonstration. Calling forth demonstration is a very powerful tool for all time, but especially amplified in the month of June. Ask for demonstration. Ask for the tangible results of what you see as the possibility. Speak that into form. I request and require the demonstration on this topic here. This is my intention. This is what I'm available to receive, this or something better. And I require a demonstration so I can see the tangible, measurable results of that which I'm speaking of. And ask for demonstration. Human beings tend to waft toward doubt as a habit. It's almost like a record groove. And it's a habit. It's an etching. Oh, doubt, insecurity, feeling inadequate. It's just a record groove. It's a sequence of thinking. It's an old record playing. When human beings ask for demonstration, it's a direct line of feedback to the human psyche, to the personality, to lift its awareness to the divine nature of things. And when human beings are having direct contact with the divine nature of things in a tangible, measurable way, it boosts the confidence that one is trustworthy. One is trustworthy to be clear in their heart. One is trustworthy to ask and receive. One is trustworthy to be able to accept the demonstration. And that sets up a confidence cycle. And in the confidence cycle, the person is learning to have confidence in their capacity to manifest, yes, also confidence in surrendering to spirit and allowing the divine intelligence to orchestrate the particulars of what's being asked for. So the positive side is confidence in self and confidence in the divine, which is the nature of the self. In this way, the human consciousness feels less alone. There's a lot of thinking about being alone. I'm doing this alone. I feel alone. I have to handle it alone. It always comes down to this, that, or the other thing, alone. That's an internal job. To feel joined with, partnered with, teamed up with is an inside dynamic. So you're invited to get curious about how many different ways you can feel yourself partnered with and supported by spirit, by your divine nature. And then knowing that you always have that backing and you always have the support, lean into it. In moments, if you do feel alone, in moments in June, at those very moments, you can remember that you're not alone. Instead of just feeling alone and believing you're alone, you can make the choice to say, I'm not alone, because Spirit's with me all the time. So in that instant, where you're moving from perhaps the feeling of isolation or sadness at thinking you're alone, you can move to the direct experience of feeling the vitality and life force of spirit with you right there on the spot. You can do that by coming to your senses. You can do that by dropping your awareness down to your heart. You can do that by asking your guidance to amplify the sensation of love and connection that is actually there that you're not paying attention to, so that it gets your attention and puts you on that more readily in relationship with that, in a direct encounter. June is a time of direct encounters as much as you want. In this way, you're causing new record grooves. You're causing new etchings. You're establishing new habit patterns in your nervous system, in your brain wiring, and in your personality traits. And there's a buoyancy to that, where you're facing life experiences or relational experiences, whatever it is. There's a buoyancy that comes with knowing that you're not alone, and knowing that Spirit's got your back, and knowing that the highest good and the clearest intention of love that you have is supported. The universe is for you and wants that for you. And you can rest in the certain knowledge that that is a fact. And when your body needs to see the fact of it, then you ask for demonstration. It all works together. And this is amplified in the month of June. It's like a major birth energy in June, almost like an elongated spring in terms of birth energy. And yet it's for the long-term dreaming. So June is the birth to the portal of the rest of the year relative to intention and vibration. I'm just being given pictures of the holidays. You know, once you come to September, you've got Labor Day, and from then on, it's just a quick run through all the holidays, one after the other. And many people lose their footing and lose their sense of core and balance during that season of the year, because the attention is on the outer and the expectations and the social mores and the way it's supposed to be around all these different holidays. So the practice of core congruency now really sets up a more successful inner experience for that cycle of holidays where the collective mind runs all these rampant thoughts about, one might say, the depressing qualities of the holiday. This is a hard time of year for me, blah, 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 all of that. This is a great time to get your etchings up and get your brain wiring going so that you're riding this energy in this groove right through the whole entire rest of the year, including the holiday season. Everybody breathing, grounding in the sits bones, bottoms of your feet, top of your head. Swift movement also calls for boundaries. The month of June, you might as well say the month of boundaries. Recognizing what works and what doesn't work. Recognizing how to take care of yourself. Recognizing when it does appear that there is too much on your plate and removing some of it. Moving it out later into the month. Moving things off your plate to different days. Creating space. June is about balancing this swift-moving reality with deep, still, spacious stillness, silence, nothingness. Really going deep. Really creating the space to hang out in the void, to have the direct encounter with yourself as spirit embodied. To know that through direct experience. Very powerful. Taking a moment in silence. Everyone is encouraged to test the waters. If there's a reality you've been holding out on, something you've wanted to attempt to do or experience or try out, It's a great time to do that. It's a great time to touch the still lake with your finger and create ripples in the pond. So if there's something you've been wanting to get to or try on or try out or to see if you might like it, June's a great time to go for it and see what comes of the experience. Try new things. Have confidence that the opportunity to experience something freshly is there. Even if you think you've experienced this thing many times before, the opportunity to experience it freshly is very, very much here in the month of June. A new take on an old dance, so to speak. Also to watch frames of reference. So let's say someone were to ask you, what do you do? And you have your elevator speech or you have your response, what you're used to hearing yourself say. Let space be there around that. Instead of the immediate response, well, I do this and I do that, and defining yourself, let the space be there and the curiosity. Well, what do you do? That's a good question. I'm familiar with what I've done in the past. I'm open to all kinds of amazing possibilities now, so I'm not sure that I can tell you what I do. I could tell you what I've done because I'm remaining open to miracles and magic now, so I don't want to limit the possibility of what I do. I like to spend my time this way and that. I'm also open to very different and unique experiences that I haven't had before. Create a lot of space and a lot of welcoming for the infiltration of the new, because the new for you will only come in accordance with what's congruent for you for your well-being. If it is your intention to have enjoyment and fulfillment, then whatever comes will be in alignment with that. It will be congruent with that. So it's a time of tremendous confidence. I would say even some daring, daring to be the magnificent being that you are and come out of the closet a little more. Whether you do that in a grandiose way or a subtle way doesn't matter. It's the daring to be 100% authentically, totally wildly yourself, revealed to yourself, thereby revealed to other people. June's a great time for that kind of inspiration, to dream, to believe, and to inspire yourself and others by daring to be inspired in your belief in your dreams. It's very circular. So back to the topic of boundaries for a moment. So the boundaries are, first of all, internal. How you conduct your own emotions, where you place your belief relative to your thinking, how you're caretaking your body, this beautiful body temple that you have. The boundaries are internal first. Are you like a sieve with holes leaking, or are you in a contained state like a bowl, holding the energy for yourself? Notice where you are with boundaries for yourself first, because in truth, there is no one outside of you and there's nothing going on outside of you. So to have the core boundaries organized within self for optimal peace is really important. As an example, if you find yourself going off in a fit of anger, well, no one's making you go off in a fit of anger. If you're having a reaction, a strong reaction, and you want to call it anger, well, you have the opportunity to say, wow, I really notice a strong reaction happening right here, right now. I could really indulge it and get really angry and take it personally and add an emotional label. Or I could notice there's really intense energy moving right now. It's big energy, and I'm curious about it. And to be neutral and to be curious about it is to not judge the energetic movement. And to not put a label on it is to keep yourself free from history and associations with the label that you're using. So simply to have intense or big energy moving and to be curious about it and to stay neutral allows it to move right through you more swiftly. and keeps you clear and present to the moment. So these kinds of boundaries are very useful in June because as things are moving, again, this is a metaphor, things are moving quickly, there's a lot of opportunity to digest what's going on and to be good with yourself in the digesting of what's going on, to take care of yourself. How that translates to external boundaries is when you are clear with your internal boundaries with yourself, you recognize that anything coming at you from the outside really is only being born from within yourself. And if you handle it that way, then you can always move by your intention. Example, if your intention is love, and you've had to set boundaries with someone else, and appearing someone else outside of your body, and you do that by spoken word or you do that by writing a letter, your intention is love, then you stick with that. If they get hysterical, if they get angry, if they get depressed, if they get reactive, no matter what their experience is, that is their experience. You are staying with your experience and your original intention, and stay with it. So if you're standing in the presence of someone who's having a strong feeling or strong reaction and they're yelling, be clear about your internal boundaries. Are you taking a stand for love in that moment with yourself, thereby offering generosity of space to the person's expression and not taking it personally? Or have you moved off your inner commitment to your boundaries to yourself to take good care of yourself and have gotten lost in the drama of the moment and caught up in their energy? So these internal boundaries are pivotal for your balance and for keeping your core bright and congruent with the truth of your being. Taking a moment for silence, digesting all of this. There's also the invitation to play big. If there's something you've been wanting to do, we talked a little bit ago about confidence in self and confidence in divine intelligence. There's also the daring, which we want to get back to. If there's something you've been wanting to do, dare to believe that it's possible, even if it doesn't make sense to your mind. Even if your left brain says, how could that even be possible? Go ahead and dare to perceive it as possible and see what happens. Invite the universe to surprise you. Dare to believe that you can have what you want. And dare to go for it. It may work out. It may work out differently than you thought it would. It may work out and find you in time later. It's the daring and the confidence in the daring and the activity behind the daring that makes the difference. You're taking a stand for yourself, reaching beyond perhaps self-made prisons by your thoughts and beliefs, and daring to have the courage to go for it, whatever it is. It could be an activity. It could be something that you engage in on the physical plane. It could be an internal posture. Whatever the daring is, it's yours to create and to have. June's energy really carries a lot of support for that kind of wild daring with self. So we're going to obviously keep this short this time. In summation, we're noting that June is a time for stepping outside of time and space, and that is the progressive direction of humanity. That is the direction things are going to continue to unfold into. Living outside of time and space, living by the moment, living by events, therefore everything seems to be speeding up. June is a time of confidence, growing the confidence muscle in self and in spirit, in the divine intelligence that is the nature of who you are. It is a time of coming to your senses and feeling what you want in your life as having it. It's a time of tremendous quickened manifestation. So creating by sensation, creating by feeling. It's a time of monitoring internal boundaries to make sure that you are congruent with yourself in all matters and all experiences before you approach it from what appears to be an external posture. Always check on your internal boundaries and congruencies first, because the outside will mold itself around that anyway, because the outside is only an appearance. June is a time of setting the gate, the platform for the rest of the year by using intention that speaks to the moment, as well as setting a platform for the days to unfold through the end of the year, setting yourself up with new constructs in the nervous system and brain patterning to be able to underscore whatever the intention is that you have for yourself, to have that be the living energy for the rest of the year, the foundation that you ride on. June is also a time of daring practice and confidence and courage to know that you're not alone, and to take any moments where you're feeling alone and to ask for demonstration from Spirit in that moment so you can feel how joined you are. Demonstrations are also relative to the appearing external world. Creating confidence for the human personality can be helped by asking for demonstrations. I need to see it, Spirit. I need to see the proof of it. I need to see it in a tangible way. Demonstrate to me so that I can get that this is real. So asking for demonstrations. As you can, create more space, take things off your plate, move them off to different days or the following week, and be sure that your momentum of activity is balanced with plenty of stillness and silence and spaciousness to go deep and hang out in the void and disconnect your awareness from external stimulation so you can focus your awareness on the internal realm of unlimited love, unlimited energy, and unlimited capacities. In summation, June is a time of lightness and levity and enjoying the ease of things, intending that things are easy, standing by your intention for things to be easy, regardless of whatever comes back to you from the seeming external world. Stay with your intention and be congruent with it. And you will see that the thing that's coming back at you that appears to be other than in alignment with your intention will sort of just melt off. It'll just kind of dissipate on its own. So we're going to wrap up the guidance by knowing and affirming that each and every day and each and every moment is the opportunity for conscious creating from the heart, in love, with fun, and as much lightness as you care to bring to it. And we know that the month of June is richly blessed, and that as we move outside of space and time and live in the now moment, unfolding all moments that follow, that divine intelligence is always, always in the weaving, because that is the nature of who we are. That is the essence of who we are. And so we celebrate the month of June with that good knowledge. And with that, we offer blessings and we close the guidance.